Okay, so we are on lesson 3.7 finally. Yay! This goes back, so you've heard this lesson before. But 3.7, solving systems of equations by graphing. I'm going to add some stuff into it because there's a tool that's online that you guys can use for some of the problems, and I want to show you that. So what is a system of equations? System of equations are equations, they're just two equations at least, or more, two or more, that you're going to be looking for a solution to. And the solution comes when the two lines intersect. So you have a solution to a system is the point where they intersect. If you have three lines in a system, they all three have to intersect in the same spot in order to have a solution. So in previous assignments, we learned how to rewrite the equations so that they're in slope-intercept form. So we're basically going to have to solve our equations for y for some of these in order to graph them. So graph the following equations using the y-intercept and the slope. I am going to, before we move on here, clear off all those stuff that I had on there. Okay, so this equation is already solved for y. We know that the slope, even though we don't see it, it's that implied 1 that's out in front of that x. That's our slope. So we know our slope is 1, and our y-intercept is this number back here, so our y-intercept is -1. So when we graph it, we have a y-intercept of -1 and a slope of 1, so up 1 over 1. And there's our line. Here, if we were to graph this one has a y-intercept of -2 from right there, and a slope right there of +2. So -2, it crosses, and then we're going up 2 and over 1. And if we put these two lines together on the same graph, we have this line here and this line here, and they intersect right there, which is the point 1, 0. So this would be the solution to that system of equations that has those two equations. So we're graphing our lines, and we're graphing them using the point or the slope and y-intercept.
Can you go back to that equation?
Mm-hmm. Are you telling me to slow down, Matthew?
Thank you.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay. So when we look at these two equations that I have in blue, the first thing that we want to do, they're not solved for y yet. So we need to solve them for y. So we're going to take the 4x plus y equals 0. We want to solve it for y, so we're going to bring that 4x over to the other side. So that has to come over here so that we get y equals -4x plus 0. So I'm moving across the equal sign. Anytime I move across the equal sign, I have to change the sign of that term. So the 4x was positive, it becomes negative. Same thing happens over here. We have -x plus y equals 3. I want to solve for this y, so I have to take that -x and move it over to this side. When I do that, it becomes a positive x, and I still have that plus 3. That doesn't change sign because that didn't go across the equal sign. The only one that went across was the negative x, and that changed to positive x. So now when I graph these two lines on the same set of axes, this one has a y-intercept of 0 and a slope of -4, and I'm going to write it as -4/1, just so I remember to keep that rise and run in there. And this one has a y-intercept of 3 and a slope of 1, or 1/1. So y-intercept is 0, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 4/1. That's going to be my other point, and I'm connecting those. This one has a y-intercept of 3 and a slope of 1, so up 1/1. And we have our two lines. And where they intersect is right there. And so the intersection, or the solution for this system, is at the point -1, +2. Okay, so solve the equation for y, and then plot it using the slope and intercept. Before I go on, I want to take you to a website that maybe, yeah. I'm just gonna have to go this way. There we go. The website is desmos.com, and it is a free math tool, and it is a graphing calculator. So you just click on graphing calculator, and it comes up like this, and you'll see the grid. You can change your grid if you want, going over here into the settings here for the graph. But what we're interested in is this part over here. Now that first equation was y equals positive 4x, right? Or negative 4x, negative 4x. And notice that when you type in that equation, it automatically graphs it for you. If I want to add the other line in there, that was y equals x plus 3. And you notice how it graphed y equals x to begin with. And then once I put that plus in there, it said, oh, she's not done yet. So then it moved it up 3 units. So my graph is definitely off because I had the solution at -1, 2, that would have been right there. So it's not at -1, 2. It is at about maybe like 0.7 and or -0.7 and 2.4 maybe. So this gives you a more accurate graph. You still have to have the equation solved for y. It won't just go and graph if I try and type in that 4x plus y equals 0. Oh, I guess it does. Oh my, you guys got it made. You don't even have to solve for y. You can go ahead and just type it in like that. You see the green line went over top of the red line there. So use this tool for your graphing. Go ahead and use it. You're still going to have to draw me a graph on your assignment and mark some key points like the y-intercepts and where the next point would be using the slope. I still want to see those points, but you can use this to find your solution a lot better than our rough graphs that we've been doing. Does that make sense? Some yeses or nos would be helpful. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So, so now So we're looking at graphing lines, we're looking at the intersection. That's what this whole section is on. And of course, they want you to compare some things, because why would we use systems of equations? What's the use of them? They use them a lot in business to try and figure out different things. But you could also use them to figure out money saving solutions for you in the future. So Creative Crafts gives scrapbooking lessons, and they give it for $10 an hour. My finger is too big here. There we go. For $15 an hour plus $10 supply charge. So the $10 is going to be there. That's not changing, but the $15, that amount changes based on the number of hours that you're there. So then Scrapbook Incorporated gives lessons for $20 an hour with no additional fee. So write a system of solve a system of equations that represents the situation. So Creative Crafts. We know that the cost is equal to $15 per hour plus $10. And I'm going to change this cost to be Y. So Y equals the cost, $15 per hour plus the $10 supply charge. The Scrapbook Incorporated is Y equals $20 an hour, so 20x, and there's nothing that they're charging for any additional fees. So I'm going to remember those equations. I'm going to go to Desmos, and I'm going to clear off these, and I'm going to type them in. So Y equals 15x plus 10, and Y equals 20x. Now with my graph right now, do I see a solution? Hopefully you don't, because we need to change our axis. Our x-axis is okay, but our y-axis needs to go. We need to figure out where that y-intercept of 10 is at least. So let's set our y-axis from 0, because we don't care about any negative costs, because someone's not going to pay us to go to these craft classes. And let's go up to 40. Does 40 give it to us? Okay, let's go up to 60. I need to create this so that I can see where those two lines are intersecting. And here is the intersection right here. So I don't know that intersection. If I come down to my x-axis, that is at 2. So 2 and 40. So right there is my solution. And what does that solution mean? What did x stand for in our equation? Our x was the number of hours. So after 2 hours, either place is going to charge us $40 if we do 2 hours of instruction. If we go beyond 2 hours of instruction, the Scrapbook Incorporated is going to be a better deal for us. No, I'm sorry, the purple line. If we go beyond 2 hours, the Creative Crafts is going to be a better deal for us, because they're going to charge us less money than the Scrapbook Incorporated, because that line is below. But before 2 hours, Scrapbook Incorporated is the cheaper of the two things. So you could use this to look at in the future what you want to do based on the information that they give you.